Welcome back, everybody, to what is a familiar sight. This is my 2004 Land Rover Freelander V6. I thought today I'd do something a little bit different because I don't really have anything planned for this week. So we're going to do a minor fleet update because there are a couple things, namely the fact that it's not really much of a fleet anymore, because if you've seen my recent Volvo V70 video, I sort of went from 3 cars to 2. The short version of the story with this V70 video was one of my best friends, Michael, was kind of feeling a little bit daring with his E39 525i BMW that had been extremely reliable since he had purchased it for around $850, I think. It had been sitting for a couple years, didn't have the keys. He got the keys for it from the dealership, started it, and it ran perfectly fine. So after about 6 months of reliable service with that car, he took the plunge and got a Volvo project that was non-running. Turns out that car had a bad engine, and then pretty much a week after we found out that that car was the lost cause, his E39 had a bit of an issue on the bottom of the engine, namely like a rod bearing sort of decided to stop being a rod bearing. So he had no cars and I had too many cars. So we did a deal and I sold him my 2001 Volvo S80 T6, which was a really awesome car and I loved it, but didn't understand why it was in my fleet. I already had 2 regular daily driver type cars and a twin turbo Volvo. Didn't really fit in with the rest, I thought. If I were to get a third car, something sporty, fun, like a BMW Z3, would be preferable. So I sold that car onto him for a $700 loss, you know me. So the Volvo is gone. That's the biggest update. I don't own the Volvo anymore, but I do see it regularly. It's still basically the exact same car, but it's in the hands of somebody who's going to take much better care of it than I ever could. Those of you who know me know that I'm terrible at working on cars. I'm only able to make these things work, especially this one, with the help of my dad, who knows a lot more about car mechanics and stuff like that. I have been learning, definitely. I still wouldn't say that I'm good at working on cars, and I don't enjoy it at all. So the Volvo is out. So that kind of means it's not really a fleet anymore. It's sort of just a regular guy who has 2 cars. I wouldn't call it a fleet right now, but at some point, I'm sure that will change when a nice little sports car shows itself to me at a good deal and I buy it. That brings us on to this, the 2004 Freelander, which has been absolutely amazing lately, and I'm a little bit worried that that is a bad sign, like it's planning something really bad underneath, maybe in the engine, transmission, who knows. There will be something on this car that explodes and puts it on the side of the road at some point, I'm sure, but lately it has been absolutely astonishing. I always say it's the most unreliable SUV in the world, and I'm still standing by that, but cautiously optimistic because it has been so good lately. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. I've had a check engine light in there for probably 6 to 8 months, and it was coming up time to get this car renewed, which in Utah just means you take it in for inspection. They scan if there's a check engine light. If there is, you fail. If there isn't, great, you get to drive your car for another year. It's pretty laid back, let's just say that here. This car was coming up on its registration and emissions renewal, and I knew it was gonna fail. That is until one day, the check engine light just turned off. Turned off, no codes. So I was like, crikey, we need to get this thing. That's Australian, never mind. And at that moment, I thought to myself, oh my God, we need to get this thing through emissions now. And it passed. I have literally done nothing to this car to sort out that check engine light. Literally nothing. It just turned itself off. It's like, hey, I know it's the Christmas season. How about we just forget about that check engine light for a little while? So it made it through emissions, and now it's registered until 2025. And then shortly after emissions, the check engine light turned back on. Awesome. And actually, that was about a month ago, and the check engine light just turned off again yesterday. But there has been another large development, and that's around the back. Those of you who watched my full 2023 fleet update, and actually 2022 fleet update as well, and every other update with this car, will know that this back window has been giving me problems lately. The morning after I hit a deer in my BMW, had this car, and I was putting stuff in the back, and I hear the back window just rolling down for no reason. And I'm like, okay, that's not good. Sure enough, it didn't go back up, and we just could not figure out why. The motor back here was getting power. We checked pretty much everything we thought we should check, and it was just an unknown electrical gremlin. We had no idea what to do. So the interim solution was to remove the window regulator, and it would just be manual. When the window doesn't work and the regulator is all plugged in and everything, it just rolls itself down, and that is definitely not a practical solution, especially this time of year. So that's what we did. We just removed the regulator so that I could manually use the window. And there were a couple problems with that. Namely, I had to be outside the car. The car had to be stopped for me to do anything with the window. And if I ever went over a bump just a tiny bit too fast, the window would drop and exhaust fumes would start getting pulled into the cabin. And that was very annoying. We went to Freelander forums asking what the problem was. People either didn't know or didn't give us good advice. And I even scheduled an appointment with our local Jaguar Land Rover dealership to get this back window checked out, get a full electrical diagnosis so we could know. And basically the phone call went like this. I was like, yeah, I'd like to schedule my car in for a diagnosis. And the lady over the phone was like, sure thing. What's the make and model? And I said, oh yeah, it's a 2004 Land Rover Freelander. And I kid you not, I heard 10 seconds of silence where she was probably putting the phone down. I was like, oh God, not another Freelander. She's probably telling all her coworkers the F word is coming back, Freelander. And they're probably like, oh my God, there goes my weekend. I'm gonna be doing head gaskets again. So I got an appointment booked to get this rear window checked out. And just before, we thought, let's put everything back into the door so when they check, the problem that's there is actually the problem and not them going like, well, there's your problem. The motor and the regulator are disconnected. It's like, well, no, that's obviously not the problem. The regulator could not be the problem, right? We ruled that out right at the beginning, right? What we did was we had a new regulator lying around, and we thought we'll just throw that back there because it's a new one, might as well put it in. And yeah, it was a bad regulator the whole time. A year and a half of thinking it was some weird electrical glitch. I think what happened was my dad and I just forgot the window's fixed. So I can operate it with the switch inside just like you're supposed to. When you open the door, the window goes down to break the seal with the body, and then when you shut it, it goes back up again. And I can close it on the back with the key. And it doesn't fall down every time I go over a bump, which is awesome, really awesome. We just kind of felt a little bit dumb that we never thought to check that. We must have thought about it, but then I guess we forgot. I don't really know what happened. So this car is definitely much better than it was in our previous fleet update video. There are still some issues, namely it's leaking coolant from God knows where, but every so often I have to keep topping it up, which is not a good sign in one of these. And the valve cover gaskets have also left the chat. So it's quite stinky sometimes, and it leaks oil and coolant, you know. It's a Land Rover. You know what they say about Land Rovers? If there ain't no oil under it, there ain't no oil in it. So as long as it's dripping underneath and leaking all sorts of fluids, we know that it still has the fluids inside it. And now we are going to segue to my parents' house for an update on the BMW. So with that, we return to my lovely E46, an amazing snow car, despite the fact that the clutch is probably one snowy parking lot session away from exploding and leaving me on the side of the road. It's been an absolutely amazing snow car the entire time I've had it. But lately there has been quite an annoying problem, which is the brakes, which just stick, which isn't really what you want when you're driving a car. The brakes are supposed to slow and stop the car only when you press the pedal, not all the time. And when they do it all the time, a number of things happen. Steering wheel gets all shaky, That's not fun. Also, you never know which direction the steering wheel is going to pull when you touch the pedal, either left or right. And then when you let off the pedal, it pulls a completely different direction. Also, the car has to work harder, so my gas mileage suffers. And I get to every destination with smoke pouring out of my wheel and just basically a completely black wheel. I mean, it's pretty clear that nobody wants to have this as a problem. So what we did is we got a whole brake caliper rebuild set. We've got like piston gasket things that we got for a Ford Fusion on accident somehow. And the Ford Fusion isn't a BMW 3 Series. So this car has been sitting in here on jack stands with no front wheels all week. It's not a good situation when you're completely relying on a Freelander to get you everywhere, so we need to get this car fixed. Also, at some point, we've got a new hood, or at least a better hood that's gonna go on here, because this hood is complete junk and garbage. And we have a panel that isn't much better that's gonna go here, but it's at least the right color, and a 330i bumper. Just a regular non-M Sport 330i bumper, because apparently that's different. But for today, we're just gonna be fixing the brakes.
They were out here.
Doesn't matter, I found mine.
Well, I know, but I don't have mine, so that means you have to do everything.
Yeah, sure, well, it's on video, so I actually would prefer to do everything. But if I'm doing everything, then this car's gonna be here until summer, probably. Everybody, so here's the problem child. Now this whole gasket assembly, all this stuff has been pulled out because that's the stuff that was going wrong. And basically what happens is, you know, the piston is supposed to move out, right, when you press the brake pedal. And that's supposed to like squeeze the pads. And then you use something called heat to slow it down. Friction. So yeah, basically just know that this piston is supposed to move in and out, and it basically just moves out and then stays there, which is not brilliant. But it's not as bad on this side as it is on the other side. And we started on this side because even though my dad told me to start on the other side, I just wanted to autopilot, took this wheel off and started taking the brakes apart, and yeah. So we're doing this side first. Also, the whole caliper's out, which means once we're done, we're gonna have to bleed the brakes and do all that other fun stuff. But honestly, maybe we need to bleed the brakes or do something like that because the brake pedal feels absolutely terrible, so. Oh, here's the gasket. Looks like a donut. Probably doesn't taste like a donut. This is the piston as well, which we've already cleaned up and everything.
Okay, I've done the easy part, your turn. This is a stupid idea. I don't think that's gonna work.
So you have to get the rubber all the way on the outside of the piston, right?
Yeah. That doesn't seem like that's gonna work. This has to ultimately go to the top, and then there's this other part. These are not helpful. This is very questionable.
Oh yeah.
Confidence level here is low. I don't think that's working.
Whoa, that scared me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my advice to everybody at home, unless you want to do this all day, just buy rebuilt calipers.
I'm gonna put this on like
Ooh,
that.
That's smart.
That was a good sound, I think.
I thought you farted.
Ooh, I think we got this. Yeah, I think we got it. Yeah, okay, so how to check it? We're gonna check it by putting these in, all the way in like that, and we'll put this one like this then.
So this is basically what my brakes, at least on the other side, are doing right now.
What do we have to put in there?
Your fingers.
Yeah, what else? Your fingers. It has to be solid.
Your phone. This would work, it'd fit, right? Right.
What?
In there. Your phone. I mean, it would work. You'd have to buy a new phone after, but it would work.
Okay, now what we're gonna do, you're gonna hold that right there, and then I am gonna blow this thing again, and we're gonna see if it leaks. And if it does, then we're gonna start over, and if it doesn't, then we're gonna celebrate. Got it? You ready?
Yeah, like that?
Uh-huh, yeah, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Did it move? Is it stuck?
It moved a little.
Feel around here though. Tell me if there's any air coming out.
I don't feel anything. Jesus Christ.
Okay. We got to test it, and that means going back to this. Except now we have room for the whole. Why not? Now you can tell all your viewers we know that's not how it goes on.
Oh, it's not how it goes on?
Look at the stopping power.
Wow, it seized again. We didn't do anything. Funny joke.
Did the thing work? I think we got it. We're done with this caliper. We just need to reinstall it, and
Oh, really? What about the other? Isn't there another little O-ring thingy?
it's in there.
It's already in there? Oh, okay. Well, that goes to show how much I've been paying attention. I can't wait for all the people in the comments asking technical questions. And I'm like, this isn't a YouTube guide. There we go. Now I can drive it, right? Mm-hmm. Of course, we have to put the wheel back on.
There. All right.
That's your torque wrench right there.
Yep. Torque it to the right setting. Perfect. Yeah, that was tight.
Brake bleeding time.
Yeah. Help me get the hood up. I pulled the thing, but that didn't pop out. That was just...
Because the hood is garbage. Other side. Ugh. All four wheels are off.
They're actually off? Wow.
Uh-huh.
So,
Let's see the
All right.
state of my current brake fluid.
it is empty.
Non-existent.
Okay, pump it up and down. And hold. Ooh, there, we got some fluid finally.
Yay!
Now we're gonna go do the same thing on the, over on this side.
Okay.
Okay, push down.
Ooh.
Okay, up, down. Oh, wait a second, let go. Come up, come here and look at this. This is the dirty fluid.
Yeah.
And although I think that's an air bubble, that's the color of the clean fluid. So now what I'm doing is I'm just gonna wait until, in fact, you can do this, okay? So when I tell you, then you open it, which is down. You just unscrew it a little bit.
Okay.
And then when the fluid stops moving, tighten it. Not too tight, just snug. And then tell me, and then we'll do the whole thing again until you start to see clear fluid come through there. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, again.
Open.
Okay, close.
Closed.
Still dirty, right?
Yeah, it's still dirty.
Okay, let's keep going then.
Open.
Close.
Closed.
Still dirty.
Yeah.
Open.
It looks lighter, but not. Yeah, it still has color, so.
Open.
Open.
Close.
Closed.
All right, let me look at it. Oh, that's clean fluid.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Okay. Open. Close. Close.
See, right here.
Yeah, it looks pretty good now. Before you start it, make sure that we have brake fluid in there. I can't really see the full line on this.
Just tell me when.
Okay.
It feels good. A little firm.
Firm?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Maybe you should feel it just to be sure. Yeah, it feels good to me.
I actually think they feel a little spongy, but they're definitely working. Well, it might just need to be driven and then check it again. I don't know.
Okay. And of course, it is an M54, so we need to check the oil while it's level with the world's most pessimistic dipstick.
What's it say?
Nothing.
Huh, nice. Yeah, it might need a little oil. You need a funnel or
No, I'm pretty used to topping up the oil in this car.
Yeah.
Because going one of these, you do this a lot. You get every last drop. Okay, test drive.
Okay, wait. Let me get 911 queued up on my phone.
This is why you need to be on the camera, because you're funnier than I am.
Well, one stop. That's good.
Yep. Doesn't feel like it's rubbing.
Airbag.
Just testing.
How do they feel?
They feel good, better than they did before, which isn't, you know, saying much.
But
Feels good to
like
drive this car
BMW
again.
brakes.
Yeah, BMW brakes, so they feel good for going in the left lane and brake checking the person behind you because they weren't going Autobahn speeds.
All right, we're gonna go down a hill.
Let's go in like
Wait
men.
a minute, let me get out and walk.
Whee! Oh yeah, oh god, the brakes feel so nice actually. It's definitely an improvement, that's for sure. There's still a lot more to improve on with this car, but that's for later videos. And it's working, so I think that's
A successful repair.
yeah, I would say that's a successful repair, yeah. So with that, we've got one successful repair under our belts, but there's still a ton of extra stuff that this car needs to be put back to where it was 27,000 miles ago when I first bought it. Like again, the panel, the hood, the trunk, clutch, all four window regulators, pretty much. There's a lot of different stuff. Next time you see this car, we're gonna be doing more bodywork stuff and cosmetic stuff, window regulators. And then I'm sure at some point the clutch will finally explode, let go, so we'll have to do that. Everything that I own has seen some sort of improvement. The Volvo has been sold on to somebody who's gonna take better care of it, so that's an improvement for that car. The Freelander has been doing suspiciously really, really well lately, and I'm kind of afraid of what's gonna happen. And this is slowly but surely coming back to where it should be. So yeah, with that, I think that's the end for this video. So everyone like, subscribe, do all the normal YouTube stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.